Hello, guys. You just caught me kipping, and that's because I have just watched the most recent Manchester derby. Today, we really need to talk about the shenanigans of yesterday. It feels like a family member has died. The mood in Greater Manchester is that shit, is that sullen. That's solemn today. I have been in work and I work with predominantly United fans, but there are a few Blues hiding around, sneaking about, and it doesn't matter who you support. The consensus is unanimous. Fuck me, what a shit derby. We need to address this. So anybody that watched the derby yesterday will know that it was boring. They will know that both sides played shit. And they will also know that there wasn't even any goal to kind of take the edge off how shit the match was. I had a score prediction down as of it being 2-1 to City, everything to play for going into fourth place. Chelsea had also just got a goalless draw earlier that afternoon, so it was everything to play for. United, I thought may have set up more, to prepare against a midweek clash against Lyon, but instead, no, they decided they wanted to go out and win it, and they did so in the most appalling way possible. City looked like they couldn't be arsed. Both teams looked like they were tired and all wanted to be home and in bed for 7 o'clock. It was shite. What made it so shite? I guess there was a certain caginess about the game. City looked like they didn't want to win. City didn't look like they didn't want to lose. It did look like they didn't want to win either. At Old Trafford, it looked like United didn't want to lose in front of the home fans at Old Trafford, and it created this cagey environment where both teams, it felt, were setting up to try and win, but neither team had the brass fucking tacks to actually go for it and go and get the win. Everybody was kind of cautious going forward. United, story of the season, they probably had the better of the opportunities. They had the best chances in the final third. They had more than a few which they just did what's been the story of their season. They fluffed the lines and they just couldn't convert their chances. And we've seen this all season. We've almost come to expect it of them this season. City, in that exact same vein, something that we've come to expect of them this season. Open defensively. City just didn't have it about them. They were exposed at the back genuinely, constantly by just route one football. Many times on the transition, on the turnover, they were just caught off guard and they looked like a bunch of fucking Sunday leaguers trying to find where they'd put their football boots. To be honest, they were sloppy when United were on that transition, and United were hitting us fast and looking like a fucking Champions League side. City did have their fair share of opportunities, especially in the second half. They came into it a little bit more, but again, they just didn't look deadly. They didn't look hungry for it. And fourth place is calling for them. So you have to ask, why is that the case? Because in my opinion, as a City fan, I am disappointed, obviously, but I've heard many United fans, and I'm talking 6, 7 United fans, say that result will suit us better, because it does. Because it does. You can now turn your attention to that midweek game, no qualms. As long as you get the win there, everything's hunky-fucking-dory. City have now blown it. They fucked it. They've blown that opportunity to get into fourth and try and secure Champions League football, which, if they do not do, will be catastrophic for the season. What City have done in the last 6, 7 seasons, they need to secure Champions League football. And they didn't again. They had a chance to get there. United, like I say, bulk of the chances, not the bulk of the possession, but they were happy to just sit back, very compact. They kept this tight, narrow bit in the middle. Defensively, they were very compact there. And then they would move across depending on where City were attacking, whichever line they were attacking down. They were tight down the middle. They were tight down the lines. They opened up as a unit to attack and push forward on the transitions. But the thing is as well, City didn't capitalise on it. So when the defence was moving across, City weren't capitalising it and sending the ball across in that open space that was there for them to attack in. They didn't do that, and we even saw United attempting to do that when they were on the transition, and we had, our defence was pulling over. United were trying that. City just weren't exploiting that space. The only thing that did change, in my opinion, is when Jeremy Doku came on. It was the first time all match I'd seen the United defence look somewhat uncomfortable, and I said he should come. I said he should have started because I had him down as one of my goal scorers. If if there was a goal. Doku was definitely the star player for City, in my opinion. Maybe one of the star players in the whole match, in all honesty, alongside Harry Maguire, who I thought had a fantastic game. I don't know why he was subbed off so early. It confused me. Maybe he'd picked up a knock or something. I'm not entirely sure. But he was one of the only players who was acting like it was a fucking derby for any point of the match. He put in a few crunching tackles, left a few marks on some of our players, good tackles as well, not even fouls, and he was at it. He was at it yesterday. He was the only one who showed any semblance of it being a fucking derby, a rivalry. But yeah, he left a few good challenges on some of our players. And I do think he would have been an asset to have going forward for United in the last 10 minutes when they were piling on the pressure. But it was too little, too late. No goal for them. No goal for us. Another thing is second-hand information from one of my colleagues at work, but he said they, as in City and United, should be fucking embarrassed and all the fans should get their money back for the tickets. All the fans should be refunded their ticket money. I don't necessarily agree with that 100%, but, you know, it kind of, there's a case to be made and it shows the feeling about the derby from both sets of fans here. It was absolutely abysmal. It looked like I'd gone to watch a fucking testimonial match for a retirement for David Silva or Wayne Rooney or something with a bunch of bygone legends or something, except, you know, those legends had a bit more fucking pizzazz about them and probably still had more passion for the game than either of the fucking players in the derby yesterday. Overall, a thoroughly underwhelming derby. I don't think much more actually needs to be said. I mean, I can go in and overanalyze it. Perhaps I may, if I have the time, perhaps I may, but there isn't much to overanalyze. A colleague of mine said, I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights. I turned around to him genuinely and I said, what highlights? There just weren't any. You had a good effort from City. I was actually so bladdered at that point. I don't even remember who it was where Onana saved it with the sunlight in his eyes. Fantastic save. Same thing happened at the other end where Ederson put in a good save from a shot that was clearly going in, curling in, but overall just a genuinely lackluster performance from both teams. And it really sums up the season that both sets of teams have had. Højlund was basically a fucking crash test dummy, a helium-inflated balloon. He did nothing all game. Xerxes came on, you know, and he's still not great. You know, it's only a month or so ago he was getting flack from the United faithful for being shit, rightly so. He has come leaps and bounds, but he's still not great. But Højlund made him look fantastic. He made Højlund look like a fart in a fucking sandstorm, to be honest with you. He looked like a flaccid cock dribbling piss down a fucking pavement. It's like... He was shocking. He was nothing. But honestly, overall a forgettable derby. One that will be quickly forgotten. Not at all memorable. Shit for Kevin De Bruyne that was a performance that he put in for his last ever Manchester derby. One can only assume it's due to his lack of play time and, you know, the recent media hubbub about him announcing he's leaving. Maybe it got to him a little bit. But fuck, but he's a professional. You know, I expected a little bit more for his send-off. In my score prediction, I said I'd like to see him score. He was nothing in the game, really. I have a lot of misplaced passes, stuff we're not used to seeing from him at all, but evidently we did. The referee kind of let the game flow. There were a few things for both teams where I thought that's a bit iffy, or that's a yellow card, or that should be a free kick, and the referee was letting it play on, and I'm happy for that if there's a bit of consistency. Few decisions here and there, but nothing too bad. But you've got a referee who's literally standing there and going, I'm up for a real Manchester derby if you guys are. And it seems to me that all 22 players on the pitch just stood there and went, it's hot and it's a Sunday. I don't really think I can be arsed. You've literally got a referee there saying, let's do it, let's have a derby. He's letting things go. He's letting the game progress, and nobody could be fucked. It's crazy. That's about all I've got to say. If you want to see any more content like this, not that anything in this was a particularly hot take, like I live in Manchester, you should see the response to this derby. Even people that aren't particularly fond of football are talking about how fucking dreadful it is. But yeah, not a particularly hot take, but there's just nothing else to say, and I don't really want to spend any more of my fucking life talking about what are the poorest games I've seen in the Premier League this season, let alone fucking derby. So yeah, that's all I've got for this one. But yeah, if you want to see more content like this, you can subscribe. There'll be some end card stuff here. Yeah, but what up? What a fucking shit show. Honest to God.